The enemy is determined to undermine divine order. I have been to families over the years where you see children literally intimidating their parents. And where parents are afraid of their kids. Something is wrong. I refuse to be afraid of who you are. My kids are married. They have husbands, etc. But I still command. You have a husband, so what? I'm going to be your daddy till you die, and I'm your daddy for time and eternity. When it comes to Christmas, I decide where the whole family spends Christmas. If I'm spending Christmas in Africa, everybody flies to Africa. And nobody tells me my husband has a plan, my wife has a plan, we are going to a holiday. You are joking. The family gathers by my command. And don't tell me you live in America, because America didn't pay your school fees. And America is not your father. And America didn't give birth to you. And America don't run my family. There is a rebellion in the church, and it's witchcraft. Come on. Tell somebody, don't break the flow. Tell somebody, don't break continuity. Whenever you see the move of God stop in the church, and the clouds depart, and the glory depart, is a result of people and individuals undermining the set man of the house. Whenever a wife becomes the head of the family, when the father is alive, is usurping of authority. And that is so common today in our churches today, where women, and listen, I love women, and I love my mom. She's passed. I saw how my mom struggled to raise us up. But it is very dangerous for women to become the head of the family. It's violation of divine order. And in a family where the woman has the final say, she will die prematurely. I'm telling you. She will die prematurely because she's undermining God's original intent and God's original order for the family. And listen, it doesn't matter how much freedom your husband gives you. Always give him back that authority. It's good for your own preservation. Because if you don't do that, you open yourself to the enemy's attack. Satan will come after you. And God can protect you. See, I hear you. This thing about husband and wife, where the pastor and his wife are in leadership. So it's the pastor, and if it's not there, it's the wife or the board. All that is not divine order. Now, there are certain individuals who are married to a pastor, and they are also called to ministry, to work side by side with their husbands. But it is not every wife married to a pastor that is a pastoral material. And if you are not called and anointed to be a pastor's wife, and you assume that responsibility and that calling because you are married to a pastor, you see, married to a pastor don't make you a pastor material. You can hear me. You can sleep in a garage and you will not become a car because you sleep in a garage. So you can marry to a pastor, and that does not make you a pastor. And there is something going on, and I watch it all over the place. I went to preach for a friend of mine years ago, and he said to me, he said, if you want us to be friends and keep this relationship going, you got to try and have a good relationship with my wife. As soon as she said that, I understood who was in charge and who determines who gets what. And even my love offering was going to be determined by her. And when he said that, I said, okay, friend, you have the wrong person here. I'm from the jungles of Africa, and we don't operate by those rules. And that was the end of my. They invited me. I'll never go to that church because I didn't know how to please the wife. I didn't know how to be nice to her, sing her songs. I don't do those things. I can't do it. So I'm not saying that you can't have a pastor and wife ministry, but I'm saying we have to be very careful because we are exposing the wives to certain responsibilities that God never intended them to walk in. So you can be married to a pastor and just be a pastor wife material. You can be married to a pastor and be a pastor's wife, just be a wife. So your responsibility is after he ministers, when he comes home, you minister to him. That's your job, but you don't minister in the church. But it has changed. And I know what I'm telling you, I've been there before. It has changed. Where the man and the woman are struggling for the pulpit. And where the man and the woman are struggling for leadership over the flock. And the flock is divided. And the loyalty is divided between the pastor and the wife when it comes to the congregation. Some are loyal to the pastor, some are loyal to the wife. It should not be so. It's one loyalty and to one person, and is the set man of the house, period. A lot of churches invite Rosa, and I tell her, you are not going. Come talk to us, mama. And I said, let nobody call you mama, and ain't nobody inviting you to speak to anybody. I said, babe, you minister to me, and I minister to the people. And you do the business and do what you do the best. Stay at the marketplace. Be a prophetess at the marketplace, and let that anointing stay there. Don't, when it comes to the church, I'm the man. And God speaks to me. And he speaks to you about the marketplace. But he speaks to me about the church. If we don't get it right, we are in trouble.